Hey guys, I'm Ryan Spence and I help people succeed and be happy. Today, I'm going to share with you the 6 best habits for a healthy life. All these are ones that I've done throughout my life and helped me tons and tons and tons and tons. And honestly, it was really hard to limit it to 6. I could probably think of about 10 or 20, but I want to try to make my videos a little bit shorter. So I want to try to stick with 6. And actually, really, I could probably do multiple videos on each of these topics, and most likely I will too, because I'm very passionate about all these things. So stay tuned for more detail on any of these individually, and definitely comment below with any other habits you do that you recommend. I'm happy to, there's a good chance I probably do those too and have forgotten about them, but these are the ones I definitely want to focus on. So number 1, meditation. So meditation helps with reducing anxiety, being better at communicating with others, lowering your stress level. It improves sleep, improves mindfulness and overall quality of life. And just those are just to name a few. I mean, there's tons and tons of benefits of meditation. It's so powerful. And actually, I've seen lists before where they say, this is for like really successful people. They say, oh yes, meditation's like so key. So I mean, it's not just me saying it. I know there's some really, really successful people out there that also do meditation. It's fantastic. So if you haven't done meditation before, I mean, you may think of people doing like and all that, and you can do that if you want. But really, meditation is just about clearing your head, finding your mindfulness, and being present in the moment. And for me, I got started on about 6-7 years ago using the Headspace app. Hashtag not sponsored, but I really do recommend the Headspace app if you're willing to try an app for free to start. And then I think they still have it where you can start for free and then you can pay to for their subscription, which that's what I did for several years. For me, I think it was like $85 for a year for a subscription. So highly recommend that. Usually you can find some discounts for that as well. But meditation's helped me a ton. You can do it right when you wake up if you want to have like a really happy, mindful day with a lot of intention. You can do it over lunch, which is the way I was using it a lot the last couple of years. And that really helped me kind of break up my day at work and allow me to kind of get, like, I would call it a little meditation nap because after the morning actually I'd wake up early, I'd go work out, and then I'd go to the office and work for the morning, and then I'd go take my meditation nap, and then I just felt so much better for the second half of the day. So that's how I use it quite often. Is almost just kind of another nap. It also helps you process any thoughts that are in your head and get rid of those. And then also you can do it right before you go to bed as well, and that helps with clearing those thoughts, right before you go to bed, which is really important. So you can do all 3 of those. You can do 1 or 2 of those versions, or you can do it really anytime that works for you. But those are the 3 times that I recommend it. Number 2 on my list is counseling. And I pretty much recommend this for just about everyone that I've talked to, especially if you live alone, or you really value an unbiased opinion or a professional's opinion on looking at what's going on within your life. I used to feel this negative stigma about you want to go to the counselor if you're really struggling, like, oh man, he's going to the counselor, he's a train wreck, or she's a train wreck. It's like, but no, that's actually not the case. So I find that most people can benefit from seeing a counselor, and for me personally, there's counselor, there's therapist, there's psychiatrist. I've kind of intermingled all those together, which is probably not right. I really need to probably understand the difference between those 3. But counselor in the terms of you go see somebody and you talk to them for 45 minutes, an hour, or whatever for an appointment. And a lot of times insurance can cover that, so that's pretty awesome if your work allows you to do that. But counseling. I started counseling around the same time of meditation, about 6-7 years ago. I think probably it stemmed from a relationship that I got out of that was kind of a heartbreaker for me. So that was a good transition into counseling. And really for me with counseling, I focused on a lot around dating and relationships with women, and then just building overall confidence, because those are things that I really struggled with understanding and had some challenges in throughout a lot of my life. So that was incredibly valuable for me for that, because I think one thing that's kind of been lacking throughout the years is really how to date, which I might do some videos on that if you guys want to know more on that. not that I claim to be an expert, but I've had a lot of experience dating, a lot of failures with dating, quote unquote failures, but failures in the terms of maybe things did not work out the way I wanted them to. So, but those are always opportunities for us to learn. Number 3 on my list would be life coaching. Now, full disclosure, I am a coach, and I will have a website up over the next couple months offering some coaching services. So, I will not claim to be, completely unbiased from that, but truly life coaching is something that I've done multiple times. I met with different life coaches throughout stages of my life, and they've all helped me in fantastic ways with their perspectives as well as just their different styles of coaching. So how does life coaching really differ from counseling? So the way I perceive it, of course, do your own research, but generally counseling focuses mainly on your thoughts and your emotions of today and really kind of whatever you want to focus on, and maybe potentially finding ways to change that. But of course, many counselors have different styles. So actually the style counselor that I've gone to was more Freudian as opposed to cognitive behavioral therapy, or I think that's what it is, CBT, not CBT-OIL, but cognitive behavioral therapy, where CBT focuses more around, like, I think, taking steps and taking actions, which is kind of pretty close to what life coaching is as well. But then there's also like Freudian, so like mine would really just focus on just me talking, and like I think the way she described it is like not being proactive. It's like you need to just show up. However you show up in this session is how you're going to show up in the world. And she might share some observations here and there, but a lot of times it's actually been not very proactive. So definitely having a life coach helped me with, because I'm a very proactive person. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a pretty proactive person. So I always want to take control of my life and make sure I'm going in the right direction or doing something to make my life better. Another difference between life coaches and counselors is, life coaches generally do not have like a certification like counselors do, as far as like in the mental health therapy field or social work field, and et cetera. So there's definitely some differences on how they're trained. Some life coaches do have a life coaching certification. Some people are just natural coaches. I know throughout my life, I like to think of myself as a natural coach and an advice giver, as I've had friends that have come to me ever since probably middle school and high school. And I mean, I just know that's personally part of my personality is to give advice and listen. But going back to life coaches, so generally they're not certified in a mental health field, but some are. But really, life coaches are very proactive. There's lots of different ones. So I've worked with one for a couple years in my hometown. She helped me a ton with being a better communicator, helping me find in my life, find my life path. Like I wouldn't be in this city where I'm much happier. I wouldn't be doing this coaching on YouTube if it weren't for her. Just so many other things that it really helped out with, kind of more along a little bit less on the emotional side. But honestly, you really, you can ask pretty much any question as a coach. I think that you can as a counselor. And if you're really skilled at it, you can kind of come to the same conclusions. So I do highly recommend life coaching as well if you are able to afford that, and it aligns with what you want to do. Number 4 is prioritizing sleep. Now, sleep is easily one of the most important activities we do. It regulates your mood, your brain function, your metabolism, so many things, yet most people do not prioritize sleep. And I totally get why, because I believe our society has a negative stigma around going to bed on time. And I mean, there's even the police out there that are just trying to arrest people with that, giving that same stigma. You can hear them right outside. So, but going to bed on time is something that I've really prioritized the last several years. I've even gotten teased and pressured from my friends about, and pressured to stay up later, and teased like, oh, okay, Grandpa, I'll go to bed, early. And, some of those friends I've actually like pushed away because it was kind of toxic. But that's another story as well. But But I get that doesn't sound fun to go to bed, as opposed to going out with your friends or staying up later to play video games. And especially my friends that have kids and you want some time to yourself, you let the kids go to bed at like 8 o'clock or whatever. I'm like, yes, I got free time. So very, very important to prioritize sleep though. Of course, I'm not saying never go out with your friends, never stay up late, play your video games. You got to do that sometimes, but regularly getting 7+ hours of sleep, depending on your age and other factors in your life, and obviously do your own research and listen to your body. But getting 7+ hours is super critical for, so many things in our life that we could solve a lot of our problems if we just have a good night's sleep and just commit to doing that more often. And I like to call this habit really the sleeping regimen, because as humans, we're creatures of habit, and especially with sleep, sleeping is something that just works a lot better when you're tuned in to like when you need to sleep. So going to bed one night at 9 and getting 9 hours of sleep or 7 hours of sleep, whatever, and versus, okay, well, next night I'm going to go to bed at midnight and then get 7 hours of sleep again as well. It doesn't always usually work that way. Anybody that's tried to change your sleep schedule, you probably know that it's kind of around 30 minutes. So sometimes someone will say an hour. You can adjust your time of sleep. For me, it's probably closer to 30 minutes. I'm very sleep sensitive on that. But having a regimen is super, super important. Next one on the list would be eating right and cooking. So much like sleep, eating right and cooking can be very challenging to prioritize in our life. There's so many temptations to go get fast food or go out to eat with friends, or just not have time to cook, after working a 9 to 5 or whatever you do throughout the day. So just like sleep, it's something that we really have to prioritize in our life. We have to say, okay, I'm going to make this time, each week or each day or whatever to cook. And, on top of cooking, cooking's a little harder than sleeping because everybody knows how to sleep for the most part, but cooking, you actually have to have a skill for it. And, don't worry, I'm going to do some videos on cooking and some basics around cooking. So if you do not cook today, I'm here to help you out with that. Cooking can be intimidating, but really it doesn't have to be that hard. A lot of times when I cook, I have kind of a repertoire of 10 to 20 meals that I cook, and they're generally pretty easy and not a lot of ingredients. So, and I also recognize eating right is also very hard, and determining what is eating right is also a challenge because there's so much misinformation out there. There's so much, so many diets at work, and honestly, you just really can't go wrong with, eating lots of veggies, eating some fruits, maybe not quite as many fruits as veggies, and then staying away from processed foods. So processed foods are those ones that generally are the really, really cheap ones at the grocery store, but they have tons and tons of ingredients, and a lot of those things we can't even spell. I can't spell most of those things because most of those are made up chemicals. And ever since I've avoided processed foods, I've felt so much better. It's amazing. So number 5 would be regular exercise. Now, you knew this one was coming, right? Our bodies were not meant to sit in chairs or couches for 8+ hours a day. They were built to be spending all day foraging for food, maybe killing some dinosaurs, whatever. I'm not suggesting you go out and quit your job and find some buffalo to hunt for exercise and for nutrition. But I mean, if you're into that, that's cool. No judgment here. But exercise just improves our mood. It helps us sleep better, builds confidence, helps prevent diseases, amongst many, many other things. So, and of course, the main motivation is we all want to look good naked, right? So, I mean, let's be honest here. That's a really good benefit as well. So, again, like sleeping and cooking, exercise can be kind of tough to fit in your day. Fortunately, I feel like exercise is a little bit more socially acceptable than eating right and going to bed on time or having a sleep regimen. But one of the best keys for doing exercise is I highly recommend finding some sort of exercise routine that you like. I say that because I've seen so many people, and I've done the same thing, where you feel like, oh well, I got to exercise, so I got to go to the gym and I got to go throw some dumbbells around run on the treadmill for 3 hours or whatever. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, you're going to feel like that's a chore. And so that's why I recommend finding something you enjoy. Even if it's just walking for 10 minutes a day, that is so much better than doing nothing, and will still provide you some benefits. Me personally, I've done just about everything. I know the last 5.5 years I've done CrossFit, which I really enjoy, but CrossFit's not for everybody. I've done other group fitness programs. I've done P90X. I've done insanity workouts from home. You name it, I probably tried it, and I'm happy. If you have any questions on that, I'm also passionate about exercise, so I'm happy to share advice with you on that. So that's my list. Now, before I go, I'm going to give you a bonus thing on the list. I said it was going to be top 6. It's really going to be kind of the top 7. So another habit that I've installed in my life that I've really appreciated is finding YouTube advice. And yeah, really, YouTube. Seriously, I know, right? But the main reason why I wanted to start this channel was because of the impact that YouTube has had on my life, especially in 2019. So 2019 was a very up and down year for me, but I found some really good coaches. I found just some great advice on YouTube, and it's definitely helping me propel myself to be my best version of myself. And definitely making 2020 and every other year afterwards just amazing. Now, of course, YouTube is on the internet, and believe it or not, you can't believe everything on the internet. I know, shocker, but obviously do your own research with any of my videos as well as any other videos that you see. But it's still just a really easy, free, accessible place to find great information about stuff. So for me, I connected with some various coaches. I found my second ever and my third ever life coach I found on YouTube, and just from looking at their videos, and they weren't never really just selling things to me. It was just like I gravitated towards their stream. They had great advice, and it all resonated with me. And so that's one of my hopes, is that obviously there's probably lots of people on YouTube doing exactly what I'm doing or something very similar, but we all have a little bit of a different gift on how we communicate things, and some people resonate differently with others. So my hope is that I build an audience where my message resonates with them. So but yeah, YouTube's just a great medium for that. Of course, you can find some meme videos too. So who doesn't like a meme video here or there to cheer up their day as well? So any other habits that you do, or any of these you want to know more about? Seriously, comment below, because this is why I'm here. This is why I'm on Earth, guys, is to just share, just dump all the knowledge, seriously like that onto you guys, and help you guys be your best self. So but yeah, with that, guys, I love you very much.